Hello, IK here. Welcome to Provider vs. App. A provider is not parent of the app. It means that provider component, React component, coming here with open tag and close tag. Between that open and close tag is app component, is calling, we calling app component. Here is syntax for calling provider in two tag, and between tag we call root render call app. And when we look at down, constant app equal arrow function, and in body we have return add post form and post list calling that two components. And add post form, add post list are child of app component. It is a syntax for child parent relation. But app, we don't know code of provider React component. It serves to us free of cost. And thanks for it. It is a declarative kind of programming. It means give us all what can give us free without our typing. And we only must know our target, our goals. And the provider open tag and provider close tag and between app means that provider must execute, must be rendered complete, entire before app. Down, in down syntax, a child always must be rendered first. It means add post form would be rendered, post list would be rendered, and after that app would be rendered. Of course, app must be calling. And right side, first rendered provider, second rendered app. And down, first rendered add post form, second rendered post list, and after that rendered app. The app is a parent to the add post form and the post list. In app syntax, app is not child, but it is syntax for order of processing. First process provider, and second app. After that, app. How I know that provider has been rendered before app? I know it because the initial state is in the reducer of the Redux. The post list needs that initial state for use selector. The user selector is connected to the reducer for initial state. The user state, contrary, has own initial state. Let's see real code in real application. Tank, it is React Redux application. Look at here, root, render, app provider. It is a syntax for call React application. But here it is open tag and close tag. Between it, we call app. It means first render provider, after that render, after that call app application. It is not relation. Provider is not parent to app. And here we call up. Here it is. Here it is syntax for declare, syntax for relation parents child. Add post form, post list, two components, a child, to up component. And it means always that first must be rendered child, here it is at post form and post list, and after that finished rendered up component. Of course, must be called up component, and when a parent is called, parents called child, and child rendered. After that, finished rendering up component. Components, functional components, a function, JavaScript function. And like every function in any kind of programming, any paradigm, function must be called. Function must be defined or declared, must be in memory heap, and like variable, like arrays, object, anything, all others, and must be called. When called, go to stack. And all about what depending parameters, variable members, subfunction, all that must go to stack and resolved, processed, recursive from last in, first out acronym. Okay, here is syntax for parents, child. And something else I spoke, that parent provider must be first rendered, because what is provider? Look at index.js. Provider is provider of Redux to our React application. Up, calling up here, is calling our all components of a React application. And all components of a React application will have access, can be subscribed to Redux, can be subscribed to Redux, concretely to reducer, to state in reducer, in store. And props here, store, equal our codings of store. It is Redux store. Here it is. Here is the import of configure store and post reducer. We have only one reducer. It is post reducer. And here is that configuration and that declaration of store. And the execution of this means that we have a complete finished reducer in a memory heap and ready to be called, to be used. Reducer is here in this file, post slice. Here it is. Here is a reducer. Look at initial state. And because of that, I know it must be installed, produced first, because that initial state means with all others here that reducer is in memory heap defined entire definition declared and ready to use. And when after that, start calling of app, it means components of React. Let's get see. It means add post form would be rendered and post list after that rendered. Add post form would be rendered. Look at add post form. Add post form has a local state. What local state? It is title in our form, content in form, and it is declared by user state. And the user state has own initial state. Concretely, here it is empty, title is empty, content would be empty, set add request status would be idle, initial state idle, and error initial state would be null keyword, etc. All here is a local state, and look at after, and there is only one initial rendering, and in that initial rendering, value would be how use state hook dictate. Empty title, empty content, ready for type a new post. And dispatch to Redux. It is add post, but post list is subscribed to Redux. How I know it? I know it because use selector is here, not use state, use selector. And that hook, there is a parameter arrow function in parameter where which connect our declaration of post connect with value of post in object post in reducer, connect to all state, but at first initial state, and initial state coming from Redux. And the first initial rendering of post list access to initial value by use selector, not use state, by use selector. It means by initial state in the reducer, in store, in Redux. Use state, use selector, etc. And after initial rendering of post list have initial state from Redux, and when event component was mounted, happened that event call use effect. Use effect, there is this coding in arrow function, in body of arrow function, and if logic satisfied, we have dispatch fetch post, and the fetch post is a tank who provoke two more rendering. Because of that, post list has three rendering: initial, re-rendering, re-rendering. Fetch post generate two rendering. Why? Because fetch post send two action. First, pending type action, and second, fulfilled or rejected action. Both that action change state in reducer, and changes state in reducer provoke a re-rendering of post list, because here we have 3 times rendering of post list and only 1 time rendering of add post form. Okay, it's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video.